And tonight's interview is with the one, the only, Brett Palmer from YouTube. How are you doing tonight, Brett? Yay! Round of applause, round of applause.
I'm doing fine, Pack.
Oh, great. Thank you. And this is your maiden voyage into any podcast out there. And if I'm not mistaken.
That's right. Yeah, I like working with a script that I write, and so this is really new territory for me, and so it was rather uncomfortable, but I'm having a blast. So.
Oh, great! Yeah, that's just exactly how we like it, because we lure people in with little sausage and cheese. And
sausage. What is it with you people?
I'm
only
trying
Packers
to be
is
the
little.
lone voice of estrogen here. I'm sorry, Brett. There's only so much I can do.
Yeah.
Anyway, I have some basic questions. And then after I get done with mine, I'll turn them over to everybody else there. Mm-hmm. Do you have, or were you, or are you religious? Well, you're obviously not religious, but were you religious, or how did you come to your non-belief?
Religious hardly covers what I was, because the way that being a Bible skeptic, you guys don't see behind the scenes, but I do this. I mean, I may put out a video every 4 months now. I don't do as many, but I'm doing this every day. Every single day, this is something that I think about, I work on. I'm either reading something about it. I don't read any fiction books. Everything I do is nonfiction. I'm reading Bart Ehrman's latest right now, plus another book about the historical David. They're both on my nightstand right now, and I'm reading both of them. But that's all I read about. That's all I do. It consumes me to be a Bible skeptic.
Wow.
But what I was before was a Bible believer, just as much. So, and it consumed me just as much then. But I ran a gamut of belief, anywhere from traditional all the way into New Age kind of belief systems. I mean, if it was spiritual and supernatural, I believed it. So the person that I am today is nothing like the person I was 20, 30 years ago.
So you were a bigger believer. What religion did you follow when you were a believer?
Well, I was Christian. When I was a Christian, I was a Christian, and but then I fell in with everything. I was into. I had dreams when I was a kid. I don't even know if I should go into this, but I had dreams when I was a kid. I had 3 dreams where Jesus came to me and told me who I was going to be in the future, and I literally believed into this stuff. I was going to be this great prophet, in that in the year 2000 there was going to be this great polar shift or pole shift, and I would be up in Boulder, Colorado, and I'd be leading people like a Stephen King novel. I was really just
follow me.
So yeah, I was really into all this stuff, and then I got into past lives, and you name it, I was into it. So.
Hey, no, I understand about that. When I was younger, I also had dreams like that too. That's like. So I understand all that, and they say I was talking to somebody, say, oh yeah, no, that's in the Bible because people have dreams and things like that. It's like, oh yeah, so I felt completely justified, but I was like, oh crap,
yeah, but did you do what I did? And that was at the local at the community swimming pool. I would repeat in my mind, if I had the faith of a mustard seed, and I would try to step off on and walk across the water in the swimming pool so I could show everybody that I really was the chosen one.
I just run.
And I just believed all of it. I thought it was all true, and I didn't have any reason to doubt it, except I kept hitting the bottom of the pool every time I walked off.
Damn it, I didn't believe enough. Fuck. I can do it again.
The skeptic was born, so.
See, maybe that's what we need to do. We got to start taking more people out to the pools and then say, okay, if you think you really believe and you really believe in your God, you can walk on water. And then I guess maybe we can get a little bit more people to deconvert at that point.
I swear that planted a seed, because I remember it to this day, and I was fairly young, but it's something that stuck with me. Was I was perplexed that it didn't work. I was genuinely couldn't figure it out. So.
Yeah,
and of course, like all good little Christian boys, I blamed myself. It couldn't have been God. It was me.
No, yeah. I've heard that one too. It's like, it was my fault. I didn't have enough faith.
That's right.
Yeah, I hear that a lot, actually. One of my other next questions is, what inspires you to do some of your videos? You've been doing this long. You did this long Bible series. You've been taking a little. Well, you said a break. You haven't done one in a while. And I look forward to your next one. I always check your channels. Like, has he made anything new? What inspired some of this?
Well, what you guys say taking a break is no. I've been working on this video. I've got a 5-part series coming out on Tuesday. That's about. I think if you string all the parts together, it's going to be 2 hours or more.
Wow!
But I've been working on that since the last video came out. So it's not that I haven't been working or doing anything. You guys don't see the fruits of my labor until I'm finished.
Right.
But what inspires me to do it, or what gets me to do these things? It's a creative outlet. I really enjoy it. I like helping other people. I think other people that are struggling with coming out of religion, I like to help them. I've had people send me notes saying that my videos have helped them, and so
Yes.
that alone is a reason to do it. But what I'm really doing in my videos is I'm describing for others what it is that I don't want to say the word convinces, but I'm going to use it anyway. What convinces me that these claims about the Bible are not true? Why don't I buy this? What is it about what they just told me, or what this apologist says about this verse or these things? What is it about that I don't buy? You can really get a taste of that in my top 10 failed reasons for God's existence. Instead, Bob Duco, where he would say something and I'd say, okay, well, this is the reason why I don't buy it.
Right.
And I was never trying to prove God doesn't exist. I mean, that's not my burden. I was just saying, this is why you fail with me. And that's what most videos are. Yeah,
no, I was just saying that for us out here, it looks like you're taking a break, but I know that you're not. You're actually behind the scenes. I got to paste this, cut this, throw this on top of there, boom, boom, boom.
There's that, but not to sound too over the top, but I do spend a lot of time.
Oh, this is Packard Pokes. Everything's over the top.
But there's over here in Littleton. There's the Denver Seminary, which is a very conservative seminary for. I'm not sure who runs it, but the Josh McDowell type people are there. And I spend an inordinate amount of time in their library going through books, because they've actually got a fantastic library. And they don't know some of the bombs that are in there that actually expose what they believe in.
Wow!
But I spent a lot of time in their library reading, researching. You'll see some of that in this. What I discovered in this upcoming video series that I've got. But
excellent.
I spent a lot of time. And then of course I've got the kids, I've got my dog, I've got work. So those things come in and keep me from making videos as fast as I like to. But yeah, I try to spend a lot of time and try to cover these topics from top to bottom and really play the devil's advocate and try to figure out what would a believer argue against what I'm saying, and try to anticipate that. And then answer that question, because I'm a skeptic of my own skepticism. You can't be a good skeptic if you're not skeptical over yourself, as much as you can be.
Exactly. My next question here is, how do you go about producing your videos? How do you record them, and how do you edit them? And what kind of programs do you use to edit?
I just use Sony Home Movie Studio, I think is what it's called. And it's like $100 program. I want to get the Pro for $400, but I don't think it does that much more. But at any rate, I just use that, and it's more of a self-taught figuring out how the program works, watching other people's videos. I also watch, you watch documentaries on Discovery Channel or History Channel or something like that, and I'll pick up techniques watching them and go, oh, that was really cool. I wonder if I could do that with my program, or I'll figure out a way to do it. So it's fun, and I'll grab animation software or whatever and draw pictures in it and put those up if I need to, and search royalty-free music and do whatever I can. It's very, very creative, and I love doing it because of that. It's a creative outlet. It's very artistic to me.
Yes, it is. All your videos look very well. My next question here is, how did you get into making YouTube videos? Are there any other YouTubers out there that inspired you to start doing your own videos?
Well, when I first started, Thunderfoot and those guys were out there already. and I was really inspired by some of the stuff that they were doing. And I had a little website a dirty little website that had my written material on it. But it's really hard to get people to come find a single website online. So I decided when I first opened the channel, when I found out you could go to YouTube and open your own channel, I was creating videos, kind of like video essays that I would put up or complement something that I had put on my webpage. But I found I reached a lot more people a lot more quickly on YouTube. And then I got a shout out by King Heathen, I think was his name. And forgive me if you're watching this. And then Wildwood Claire.
Oh, Wildwood Claire. And
Wildwood Claire is probably my biggest inspiration. I absolutely love her videos, and am glad she's back. She was getting a little down last week, and now she's back.
Yeah, I heard that her computer crashed and died.
Yep. And so those folks became an inspiration to me. But as far as YouTubers are concerned. But then again, what really inspired me was just I love documentaries on television. So that was one way to for me to produce something that I would want to watch if I was sitting down in front of the TV.
Oh, absolutely. When I sit down and watch your videos, I sit here and I like taking mental notes. Go, okay. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh okay. I can use that next time. And then 5 minutes later, some of it I'll forget, but then some of it just sticks with me because that's just my brain is half Teflon, half sticky tape. So some of it falls just the right spots, but you've helped me pick out certain points I've used with other people, and then they sit there and they go, then they can't respond.
Well, so in the past, when I'm making these videos, it's I don't want to say it's organic, but it flows. You get into kind of like a creative groove, and just things start to fall into place, right? Mm-hmm. So, in the past, I would have said I was probably channeling some sort of long dead video producer, and that's who's really doing the work. That's the kind of nut I like. So it's that kind of feeling that you're almost out. So I'll admit I'll sometimes watch my videos after I because I won't look at them again after I'm done with them.
Really, you don't rewatch them later on?
God, no. Oh shit! No, because I'm with them for so long, and then I set them out there, and I'm nervous as hell as to what the reception's going to be. And then, but I will watch occasionally. I'll watch something that I haven't watched in like a year or two. And I'll be surprised. I'll go, hey, that was pretty damn good. And then I'll realize I don't remember doing that. But then I think, well, I guess I'm doing a good job. So
yeah, I completely empathize with that because when I sit here and I go through and I do all the editing for the show and everything, and I have to make sure it's downloaded so it downloads back to me so I know everybody else is going to be able to get it, and then I put it on my iPhone. So along with all my other podcasts, and I will listen to it later in the week, like the Friday before the show, if possible, or the next week. But I do listen to it, but I wait a whole week,
Yeah. Well, I mean, just so you kind of understand, again, a peek behind the curtain is this series that I created that'll be going up next week. I finished it over a week ago. And what I'm doing now is I'm working on another video, which is a much shorter one, probably like 10 minutes long, if that, so that I can follow it up and keep things kind of moving along on my channel to keep people interested in it. But I'm letting it stew for a little bit so that I can rewatch it. And do I need to make any last-minute changes to it because I've been so close to it? You got to back off.
Oh yeah,
but and part of me kind of regrets that because I think, God, you egotist. What the fuck? It's just a YouTube video. Why are you worried so much about it?
There are children. We want them to go out and to have a good time.
Well, and I'm hoping that these videos, outlast me. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. No, I understand it completely because for my parents and whatnot, I have almost just barely some photographs. This is one of the reasons why I do this show. Is so when I get older and I pass away, my kids will have something for their grandchildren. Or my grandchildren, rather, their children or whatever, too. I hope they're not having grandchildren at that age. But
Well, I'm thinking a little bigger than that. I'm thinking the world, man.
The world? You want the whole enchilada?
Right, I want everybody to be watching. I want 100 years from now for there to people to be looking at my videos and then passing a plate around.
There you go. I completely agree with that. That's a great way of looking at it. What's another channel out there that you really enjoy other than Packard Pokes At? This is not played Stump Brett, of course.
Fishhead Salad reminded me of The Living Dinosaur. He hasn't produced anything in a long time.
Yeah, I thought he had. He's decided he's going to take a break, and he's like shut his channel down. I thought I heard. Well, not shut his channel down, but he stopped making new content.
I absolutely love his stuff because I could never ever reproduce his sense of humor. I mean, that guy is unmatched. He's so damn funny.
He is. He really is.
And then he just shoots you right into the heart. And then Bod to Bits, I love to bits. I love Bod's stuff, especially the way he just skewers Ray Comfort. Oh God! Anytime I see a Bod to Bit video, I'm just tickled pink that he's produced something new.
Yeah. I have to go back and see some of his older stuff because I didn't find out about him until a few months ago, I think, or before that. But it's funny, just finding the time now,
Yeah. And then the only other, there's certain I've been getting involved in watching this in a very voyeuristic, kind of sick way, is watching this Jason Bourne drama playing out. I just recently discovered that Jason Bourne character. And, oh Jesus, he is just a piece of work. Anytime he puts up a video, it's like it's one of those love-hate relationships. You got to watch it like a horrible train wreck, but
yes,
you just can't turn away. I mean, the guy is just horrible, but very entertaining.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I have one other quick question here. Huh? How did you come up with the name for the Bible Skeptic for the channel? I mean, everybody's got their own niche and how they decide they was like, I'm gonna be, like I said, mine's Packard Pokes At, and then and then there's the Fishhead Salad, which I didn't get a chance to ask him that. I completely forgot, and so I'm gonna have to ask him sometime.
It was the name of my website. There was a website that I had, thebibleskeptic.com, and then but before that, I mean, how did I decide on that name? It was too long ago. I don't remember, other than that's pretty much. I mean, how could you get more descriptive than that? That's what I am. I'm a skeptic of the Bible, right? So it's just very descriptive of who I am. I don't think I put that much creative thought into it.
I actually toiled over mine for like about a month.
No. No, it just seemed like that described what I was doing. Because I'm not going to be skeptical of the Quran. I'm not going to.
The Quran skeptic. That's the next project, right?
I will not get into theological discussions with people or doctrinal discussions about, well, what do you think? I don't get into that. That you've got to buy a bunch of crap before you get into that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm much more into, well, this is what it says, then I go back and say, well, does it really say that?
Right.
Or what is it in its original context or something like that? So.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know all that much about the Quran myself. I mean, I just pick up pieces here and there because it doesn't affect me here as much as, Christianity does. So that's why I'm more pushing against Christianity now. I mean, if it was the Quran, then we'd be most likely in the United States pushing against that. Yeah.
That's it. It's a cultural thing. I don't have Muslims that come up and knock on my door and ask me to, talk about Muhammad and Allah and the Prophet and all. I just don't get that.
Right.
But I do get every single place I drive my car. I do see a church in every freaking corner, and all of them are saying something. And there's one down in the down the road. Like I say, there's a seminary down here. I mean, they're everywhere.
Right.
So I mean, I'm not going to go pull weeds that don't grow in my lawn.
Right. Exactly.
Growing damn lawn, and it's these guys.
Right. Exactly. I'm not going to look at my neighbors like, yeah, you know what? I could mow. I'll have to pull your weeds out of your yard over there because they're bothering me over here. No, that's somebody else's yard. Just don't fuck around with that. Let them deal with it.
Yep.
Doesn't matter how many weeds are in it. It's you just stick around with your own lawn. That's why we get those laws for like where your borders are and shit.
Yep.
All right, well, I am going to turn the questions over to my co-host now. So, Dave, you get to go first with your questions.
All right. First off, I'm really impressed by the quality of your videos. They're pretty awesome.
Thanks.
So, good job, I guess.
Guy in a basement,
I guess.
man. I'm just a guy in the basement, just goofing around.
Yeah, right. So I'm in Detroit, and so Bob Duco is
Oh, jeez.
on my drive home every day, and
I'm sorry.
Yeah, right. Well, I listen to it. It's entertaining, and I've called in, and they do a really, really good job of screening to the point where I've given up calling in because they ask you kind of what you're going to talk about, and I've gotten hung up on every time.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
So what drew you to actually going against Bob Duco? And congrats on having him respond like that. That's and your video responding to him as well. But what drew you to Bob Duco in particular?
You'll be surprised. It was a complete accident. I was looking for something to do in between a couple of projects that I was working on. And I had heard him on a Christian station out here in Denver where he's got like a little, I don't know, a half an hour show or something. It's not the same one you listen to. It's some nationally broadcast one. Right. And I heard him, and he just sounded like a smug asshole. But what it wasn't his show that got me. It was the commercial that he had these top 10 CDs that he was selling. And so I was just looking for some filler material to make some videos about, and I happened to hear him on the way home, and so when I got home, it was fresh in my mind. I looked up Bob Duco top 10. It pulled up those CDs that he had, and the top 10 proofs for God's existence happened to be on some guy's blog or something like that, where he had uploaded all the audio. And so it was available. So I was like, what the hell? I'll make a video about this. So I downloaded it, and I just did the videos. It really wasn't intentional. It's like, I'm going to go after this Bob Duco dick. That's not what it was. It was just like, what the hell? Here's something I can do. And so I did, and it turns out to be the most popular series I've ever done. And I was like, wow, that was kind of wild. So what I'm looking to do now, and I made a video about it in December, but nobody's been able to get this for me, and I'm just, I dread the thought of sending him $20. But I want to do his top 10 reasons the Bible is true. But I just can't. I can't fork over. I didn't pay any money for that God series, right? That was already online. Mm-hmm. But and so I downloaded it for nothing. But the Bible series I want. But
just send me the name. And I'll check my sources. I have lots of sources.
It's just called it's Bob Duco's top 10 reasons the Bible is true, I think is what it is.
Okay. Well, it says we got to record it. I'll have it and edit.
Okay. Later. Yeah, if you can find that, I'd love to do a series on that because that lines up even better with my channel than the God one. But
I'll see what I can do.
I actually have I've got friends who own that, so I can.
Oh, there you go. Dave's come to the rescue.
Man, I'm in Detroit, man. That's what everyone around, all the Christians listen to all the time. Every time I get into some sort of theological debate with someone around here, they recommend, have you ever listened to Bob Duco? Yeah, I listen to Bob Duco.
Yeah. Well, see, and in a past life, I would have said, see, this works. Ask and ye shall receive.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, if you guys have that, if you can get me that audio, that will go straight up to the top of my to-do list.
There you go.
I'll get that for you. I'll get that for you tomorrow.
Yeah, and I thought that was funny the way he responded to me. I was just I was so thrilled. I don't know how a higher cloud I could have walked on after I found out I was so excited about that. So and it was fun just ripping him a new one. So again.
Did you? I got a question here real quick. That one guy there in the promo video I made for you, this guy, he's like, well, God told Job about the lightning, and the information. Yeah. Like, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe you think this is information. It's like, lightning. Oh.
Yep. That was me. I believed all that crap too. I believed that, and I also believed that the Atlanteans had special crystals that made them have flying machines.
Wow.
I was gone, man.
Where's my flying machine?
Oh. Yep.
All right. I have another question. I know you've got disclaimers on your videos that say that you're not a scholar in Hebrew.
No.
How do you go about researching the Hebrew language to find out what words are? I mean, what resources do you use to do your research for that sort of stuff?
Without getting into details like URLs or stuff, there are websites that have what's what I'm thinking of. Parallel translation. So you've got you've got it in the parallel translations, and so you can compare them. And then you've got the Strongs and Vines and different books in which you can pull up basically their dictionaries, right? And you can look up what the word means. But when I really get myself into a pickle, and I need to know what a word would mean, or if I have a question about it, if there's a nuance about a phrase or something like that, I will write to professors of Hebrew at different at different universities or seminaries and get various opinions, and so they'll teach me what that means. So I don't take their class, but I will ask them about a word. So for example, when I was de-pantsing JP Holding on that Elisha and the Bears issue with the
I love that video.
The little children. He kept coming up trying to say they were basically hardened criminals and all that crap. And I went to a half dozen scholars and asked them what these words, how would they define them? How, because this is my understanding. Could it mean this? Could it mean? And I would give them basically Holding's definition and say, of these nuances, could it mean it? And to a person. And I mean, I went from everywhere from a guy from a Baptist seminary to a guy who wrote a book on Hebrew language to people at Yale, and to a man. They all said, no, it means what you say it means. So, and so that's how I looked that stuff up. I get help, and I just try to teach myself as much as I can, but I don't rely on my own knowledge. I try to get experts to tell me what to help me out.
That's awesome.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Do you have any other questions, Dave?
No, I'll pass it off to Connie at this point.
Excellent. Excellent. Excellent.
Cat. Pat the cat.
Okay.
Pet the cat. Pet the cat. Connie, what are your questions for Brett?
Do you have a favorite apologist, either for a fairly well-informed argument, or comedic value, or just the irritation level, or maybe all three?
Well, again, I'm going to have to this without getting into too much historical detail. But I used to be on a email list for a skeptic who basically inspired me, named Farrell Till. If that rings any bells for you, he actually dedicated that big video I made about biblical apologetics to Farrell. He died a year and a half or so ago. And he used to get into these sparring matches with that JP Holding, whose original name was Robert Turkle. And I used to love to watch those two guys go against each other. And as much of an asshole as JP Holding is, he will do research. And that impressed me, because most apologists just talk out of their ass. He at least would reference material, because he's basically a librarian. So the guy knows where to go reference stuff, and if you're too stupid, you don't realize some of the tricks that he pulls. But I can't say I admire him, but I did like the fact that he would at least back up what he said with some reference, right? Where you get those Kent Hovens and even Bob Ducos, and they'll just talk out of their ass. They don't back up what they're saying by somebody else. So
right.
Yeah, but to ask me, do I respect an apologist? No, I no.
Oh, okay.
I don't.
Yeah, I don't either.
I say a favorite opponent.
Yeah.
And what would be your favorite video for yourself that you've produced?
You know what? My favorite video will probably be the one that's coming up. This one took a enormous amount of research. And I was speaking, I mean, I had to do research in journals of seismology for this one. I had to speak to professors and authors of certain archaeological books and topics for this one, and this one is. If this doesn't define what what the Bible skeptic is, I'll be surprised. But I don't know if everybody else is going to get as big a kick out of it as I did. Because again, like what Dave was saying was that Bob Duke, that was popular, that Bob Duco thing, and that was not what I was. What's the word I'm trying? I'm not going to say it wasn't planned out because it was, but
it was
a
serendipity.
It was, but yeah, exactly. But this one, this next series coming up is just really what I'm about. Let's put it that way. So,
poured your heart and soul into it, so to speak.
Yes. But my favorite one to date, outside of that one, would probably be that big. I forgot what I called it now. The failure or the failure of apologetic hypothesis or whatever I called it. I can't remember what it was called. But anyway, that big 2-hour one that I made. I like that one. But mainly because I did that entire thing. That was my first attempt to do the entire thing using Creative Commons pictures, asking permission to use things instead of just grabbing them off Google Image. And all that. And so that's one of the reasons why that one took so long, is that there's absolutely no copyrighted material in it. And I had to do I filmed some of it myself in the back behind my kids' elementary school, and there's just
when you were back there with the camera.
There's some scenes in there where you're walking through a field and you find a rock. Well, that was behind the kids' school. So there's things like that. So that one was rather interesting to make, and I kind of liked what I did with that one too.
That's nice. That's really great. I've been following you. I mean, we both basically got on YouTube about the same time. It was funny. I was looking back and I've been watching your channel since you first started, and you're excellent videos, and I love documentaries. Actually, I will go and watch documentaries, on Netflix, and so
too.
I find it interesting to learn, new things. So I just appreciate all the work you put into this. That you do, and I had other questions, and I think you've kind of answered some of them.
Okay.
If I had do you still have a blog somewhere at all?
No, I pour everything into this YouTube site, but my ultimate dream is I would love to do this for a living. I don't know how I could, but it would mean the world to me if I could do this. For forever, and for everybody, and just keep it, and just dedicate all my time to doing this, guys. Then I would probably have more written things and videos, and probably write a book or something. I don't know, but what I really want to say is to you and to anybody else who's listening and watching, you have no idea how much I appreciate subscribers to the channel. And actually, you should know. If you guys are doing YouTube, you understand what it means to have people subscribe to your channel.
Oh, absolutely.
It is the highest compliment you can give a video producer, is to say, I want to be informed the next time you put something up.
Right.
There is nothing that motivates me more than when I see that one more subscriber. It's just, it is so gratifying to have that. And so I want to thank everybody who thinks I'm worthy of a subscription, because
absolutely,
again, I'm just some dude sitting in his basement making these videos because they're fun.
Right. and while you're out there subscribing to Brett, be sure to subscribe to Packard Pokes At as well.
That's absolutely right, because we all love the subscription.
That's right.
That is true.
Yes, I would like to eventually be able to quit my day job and just do this all the time. Then I would do this every day then. And then my hair would turn gray. So help my hair turn gray, everybody. Subscribe to Packard Pokes At, and then that sounds so bad. There's a negative connotation there, I think. I don't know. Connie, did you have any other questions?
I think could we pass the questions to the chat room?
Absolutely. If you have any questions for the chat room.
I'm reading.
Alrighty.
Hello, Seattle.
Yes.
This is the dancing portion of the show.
Oh, Dawkins Dog has subscribed to Brett's YouTube. Oh my God, Dawkins, thank you so much.
He makes
Good
some art.
job.
Dawkins makes
The only-
artwork for
the
me
only
every.
question I have is why weren't you subscribed before?
I actually had someone on the channel on my channel. He said that he didn't know how he missed you, and he's like, I am subscribed as of now. So
Awesome.
yeah,
Joe.
Joe. Okay. Again, not
Brett. All right, Brett. All right, let me read the question because no one else. Because
Sure.
this turns into a podcast. Like Joe goes, Brett, how much weed do you smoke before breakfast every day? Joe's good
because I'm
he's
from
got-
Colorado, right?
Because he's from Colorado, right?
Well, again, not to bring the what do you call? I probably have to ruin my reputation, but I've never done drugs. I've never drank alcohol. Sorry, guys.
Never drank. Oh, really? Never.
No, I've
None.
never. No. And this goes back to the old me. My body was a temple of the Lord, and you would never have polluted. You never would have brought that stuff into the temple of God. Why
Right.
would you bring it into your body? So I grew up with that idea, and so I just never did. So my vice has always been women. I'm sorry. That's true.
Our next question is from Finnet Atticus. He says, "How much research is enough research, Brett?"
Until it's exhausted.
That's a good reason. And it's just like I cannot find anything more, and
Pretty
this
much.
is it. Yes.
That's it. I don't want to be backed into a corner, and I don't like that. Oh, what's go ahead there. I see another-
Karn 33333 asks, "What's the most ridiculous Christian argument you've ever gotten?" Oh, we love these ones.
Oh God. You know what? The ridiculous was. I think I would probably say, "Were you there?"
Oh, I love that one.
The Ken Ham. Were you there? Yeah, I hate that. So that's probably one of the most ridiculous that I can think of off the top of my head.
Okay, no, I like that one. That's one of my favorites. Also, we used that one on a couple shows ago. Actually, there's
Yep.
because of the creationist reaction to Cosmos. Were you there?
Yep.
Joe Unseen in the chat room says, "What's your favorite translation of the Bible to use?" You know, because there's always those Christians
Yeah.
out there. They say, "Oh, the King James Bible is the one, the only one."
No. The NRSV, the New Revised Standard Version, is probably the best as far as being as close to a translation of the original language as you can get without being politically correct, without trying to gloss over difficult passages. So the NRSV is used by most, I don't want to use the word liberal, but non-conservative seminaries. So the NRSV is my favorite.
Another one. Joe's got one here. And now this is a joke one, I'm sure. He says, "Why do you hate God, and what did He ever do to you?"
That's my favorite. That's the most ridiculous one.
I love it when
You know what I was thinking today was you know how a religious person will ask you if you don't believe in God. They'll say, "Well, then why do you exist? Why does the world exist?
Right.
Why does the universe right?" And you got to come up with some reason. I've never heard anybody ask one of these religious people, it's like, "Why does God exist?" I'd love to hear that answer. Why does God exist?
Oh, I think I've heard that one when I've asked them that one. They
Really?
said, they said that God exists so we exist.
Oh my God! Really?
Yeah.
So God needs us to exist. Oh yeah. Okay. There you go.
Yeah.
I love that one.
It's just bizarre. Joe again is asking another one. How much Satan did give you for your soul?
Oh, okay. Then okay, wait a minute. That's not as funny as you think it is. I had a guy at work several years ago who was a believer, and he found out that I did not believe.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "Would you sell your soul?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "You got to be kidding me." And I said, "Nope." And he said, "Well, I'll give you $5." And I said, "Hey, that works for me." So he gave me $5. I wrote on a piece of paper, my soul. I wrote, Brett Palmer's soul. And
Oh, my.
He, to this day, this is about 10, 12 years ago. I ran into him, recently. He still has it in his wallet.
Oh my gosh!
I took that $5 and I went to McDonald's that day.
Nice. I would have held out
So
for
that's
more.
that's how much I sold it for, $5.
I would have held out for more because I'm poor.
I wanted to go to McDonald's that day. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's all right. Finite Atticus asks, who do you hate more, Ken or Kent?
Kent.
Kent? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because basically he's not paying his taxes, which means a bigger cut got taken out of mine.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. I hate it when these priests out there, they get off on not paying taxes. That just kind of it really irritates the fuck out of me.
Yep.
Trying to find some other
Yeah,
ones.
somebody on there's telling me I should have used that money for porn.
There you go. Then it would have been worth it.
I used it for food porn.
Food porn. Yeah. Well, no, Hardee's is food porn. McDonald's is just like that's not even like porn. That's like Cinemax in the afternoon.
Well, hey, Dawkins' dog is asking me, if I don't believe in God, where do I get purpose for my life? My subscribers.
My subscribers. There you go. Yay. I missed it. Thank you for catching that one. Let's see here.
What argument, if there is one, have you had the most trouble refuting?
Have I had trouble refuting?
Yes.
I don't know. I don't know if I've had one. I don't know. I don't know of one that's kept me up at night. I mean, I've had ones that I've struggled with, but then I eventually come up with something.
Right.
So I don't know. I don't know if I've had anything that I can pick on, or pick out of my brain right now.
Joe, again, has got one of those typical Christian questions. He says, Brett, what stops you from killing and raping everyone?
Well, who says I haven't?
Woohoo!
Restraining orders?
I mean, you're assuming I have stopped doing that.
Right. Yeah, I guess us atheists are always out killing and raping and murdering, just because we don't believe.
I just eat babies.
Torvian, he says, my wife was heavy into religion. I showed her all the bad things in the Bible. She didn't throw away religion. She just accepted that the God she believes is a dick. Where should I go from here? I kind of find it funny. I think she is close to disbelief now.
You drop your pants and tell her to worship.
Worship the mighty cock.
That old serpent.
Well, Phoenix Atticus, he said his soul is worth the dinner, at least at the Olive Garden.
Hold out for an ice cream cake from GQ too.
Hey, I'll take Fazoli's. That's how cheap I am.
Hey, you know what the nice thing about selling your soul is you sell it to multiple people. They don't know that you'd ran out of soul.
That's exactly right. That's right.
I'm all out of soul. I need more. Oh my God, I felt it. Oh my God, I get these pains in my chest now.
The thing is I listen to James Brown and Marvin Gaye. I got plenty of soul to go around.
There you go. Karen wants you to go to Chili's because they want baby back ribs, apparently.
Yeah.
Your Damn says, what evidence would you accept to convince you that God does exist? Now, that's a damn good one.
Yeah. See, that's the interesting thing. We know what exists in the physical world, right?
Right.
And they're all finite things. And they're all not, they all have, they're all finite. How do you evidence something that's infinite? I mean, infinite power, infinite goodness, infinite, omnimax. How do you evidence that?
Right.
I don't know. So I guess it's like porn. You'd know it when you saw it. But I don't know because for that very reason. God is something that is so other that how would you know what it is?
Exactly.
Because you could always say, well, that's just a more powerful alien race that we think is God.
No, that's very true. I've heard that too. Because there's an old saying that any technology that you don't understand is almost indistinguishable from magic. So.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, what convinced people that God existed, 1,000 years ago, no longer convinces anybody.
Right.
So
children, babies and children, it's like, what's all that lightning? Oh my gosh, it's so scary. It must be God. Right. Yeah.
Yep.
So, and then you learn it's just electricity from ions and neutrons and positrons and megatrons and no, wait, I'm getting into Transformers now.
Yeah, really.
Joe has another question.
Yes, I
yeah.
see that.
Wait.
Yeah.
Dawkins has a good one.
Oh yeah, is there any religion
Oh.
that you would tempt you to purely let me start again. Is there any religion that would tempt you purely because of their teachings?
Yes, Taoism.
Taoism,
I
interesting.
love. Yeah, I like. It's more of a philosophy, not a religion. But I always like the idea of that middle way of, if you're going to be a blacksmith in the town, don't be the best blacksmith, because then the army will come and conscript you, and don't be the worst because you won't get any business. Just stay in the middle, duck your head, and do your job. So I like that philosophy.
Oh, then I must be a Taoist because that's all I do.
Joe's
Joe
question.
Joe asked another question here. Brett, what do you think of the historicity of Jesus?
I'm firmly in the Bart Ehrman camp of I think there's good enough evidence that Jesus existed as a historical person, but the legends that grew up around him and the claims made for him, for me, are obviously not true. I mean, he's not divine in the sense that Christians say that he is.
Right.
So, that's kind of, my take on the historicity. Again, I think he existed. I think there was a person, the person of Jesus, who existed and was, crucified. But that was the end of his physical and any other existence in that sense. And then he just continued to live in the memory and the hope and the desire of those who followed him, and then heard of his teachings, and then there was this development of making him divine.
Okay, because we have
David Fitzgerald.
Thank you, and he wrote this great book. He said that basically, to boil it down, that Jesus was a compilation of a lot of different people, and they're just kind of put together.
That is, as far as what we have in the New Testament, I don't doubt that that's true, in the sense that they have taken ideas like, one of the things I was thinking was, I made a video series about what the Bible got wrong of flat Earth, right? And I frequently get these dick shits that come on there and say, where in the Bible does it say specifically that the Earth is flat?
Oh,
right?
yeah.
That it actually has those words in it. And the retort is, well, where in the Bible does Jesus say, I am God? It doesn't.
Right.
There's nowhere that it says that. He never makes that claim for himself. Right. Those are claims made later. And if there's anything that even hints at the divinity of Jesus, it's all in the book of John, right? Which is a much later gospel written, after all this nonsense came around. Right.
Right.
So, as far as being a compilation of other people, yeah, he's a compilation of different ideas. The Jesus that we have in the gospel, in the New Testament, that more people believe in today, that he's a compilation of different ideas from the Old Testament. He's from different ideas that were current in Judaism at the time, ideas of Paul. Paul wouldn't recognize John's Jesus. That's not the same. I mean, there's different Jesuses in there. You want a theory, you can find it. It's in there. It'll just be contradicted by something else. So. Oh,
Karn in the chat room said, Jesus hates figs. It was
yes, he does.
I think it would be harder to point out if he hated mushrooms. Certain kinds of mushrooms. Sometimes I think some of those people over there, they were on mushrooms. That's why they were seeing some stuff. Torvian says in the chat room there, what do you think when Jesus said, I am the morning star, and the Latin word for morning star as Lucifer?
I'd have to point to that passage where he says, I don't remember him saying he was the morning star.
I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with that one myself.
I don't remember that.
I'm not really familiar with that one myself.
Yeah.
That's what I like about being an atheist. I actually learn shit about the Bible instead of spoon feeding me what they want me to think about it. That's what I.
Yeah.
We'll look that one up, and Brett will make a video on it.
Oh, here we go.
Well, he says it's in Revelations 22:16.
Well, let's.
Everybody, get out your Bibles.
Right.
I don't know how many atheist podcasts everybody's grabbing their Bibles.
Oh yeah. No, on the fly, I'd have to start pulling up some of my resources to look at that and see what Morningstar refers to. But I don't know. I'd be honest with you. I'd never run into that before. So that's kind of interesting. I like that.
Yeah.
I'll have to go look that up.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to take one or two more questions from the chat room, and then we're going to, I think we're going to get out of here because it's getting kind of late. Yeah.
Sorry about that, folks.
Oh, no. It's no.
I've got a question in there.
Oh, do you? I'm trying to find it here. All right, here it is. What examples of interpolation have you come across that people might not be aware of?
What examples of? Oh.
SpaghettiOs?
I was going to say, I can't think of anything right off the top of my head. There is something that I ran across that I thought was interesting as an interpolation, but I'm drawing a blank. I don't remember. I don't remember what it was.
Okay.
But it was one that I was not aware of. So, but apparently not memorable enough for me to retain.
Well, that was informative.
Yeah.
Sorry, we didn't give you a better answer. I mean, we weren't familiar with the passage, so
That's right.
hey.
We're not working with a script, guys. Come
Right,
on,
there's no scripts here. This is it.
Any other questions?
Any other questions? We'll take one more from the chat room.
How about the classic, if you end up dying and at the pearly
Oh
gates?
no, not Pascal's wager.
No.
No, it's
Cut
What
that
would
out.
you
Okay.
want God to say to you? What would you like to hear from him?
Say that again.
If it turns out to be true, what would you like to hear God say to you?
and what would you say to him? We're just going to add in Dawkins' dog question.
Well,
what would you say to him?
I'd answer that in two different ways. One is the first way I'd answer it is one of the ways that I've talked about the Bible, that it's an idiot test. It's an IQ test. If you buy it, you don't get in. If you reject it, then God says, "See, that's the kind of guy I want. I want somebody who doesn't believe this shit." Right? So that's now. So that's one way to answer it. He would tell me, "Hey, congratulations, you didn't buy it. It was a test." But if they were right and everything in there was true, then I'm fucked. I don't. I mean, what would he say to me? He'd be pissed because my channel and I don't know how many people I may have turned away or helped turn away or will help turn away. Dude, I'm burning bad.
Yeah. Oh, well, speaking of burning bad here, all right, Fishhead still hasn't had a question, but this is the first one I think he's put in here so far. He says, if you ended up showing up in front of God, how would you want to smell? I smell good.
I want to smell like strawberries because nobody gets rid of strawberries. Everybody likes strawberries. Either that or a tuna casserole.
Tuna casserole.
We don't turn down that tuna casserole, do we, guys?
Nuh-uh. I like tuna casserole. I was like, ooh, it's cooking tonight.
Tuna casserole. Those with ears, they shall hear.
Right. All right. Well, I want to thank you, Brett, for showing up and entertaining us tonight, and with your presence and being here on the show with us, and being the first show that you've ever actually decided to actually be on. And I hope we can get you on again sometime in the future.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Yes.
Yeah. No, this has been great. I appreciate the chance to come on here and feel very comfortable with everybody. Oh,
great. Definitely have to have you come back again. And we really enjoyed having you here tonight, and we had such a fun time. And
definitely.
Yes. And
yeah, thanks, Brett.
Yes, definitely.
Yes, thanks you, Brett.